Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Me, Chris Bradley, owner of the MRR Agency. Today's video I'm going to take you through every single AI tool that I use inside my business so that you know exactly what you could potentially use to make more money, save you time, make more profits with AI tools. I'm guilty of it. I show on my Instagram a million different AI tools every single week, but when all is said and done, it's only about the ones that make you money and buy you back time. That is it. Okay, so here's the 7 tools that run the whole business. We have Claude, we have Fathom, we have VidIQ, we have Apify, 11 Labs, ChatGPT, and Manus. So getting straight into it, Claude sits right in the middle of everything, you might be surprised to know. Everything else feeds it or runs beside it. Okay, so if you think of it here, Claude is the engine in the middle. It thinks, it writes, it codes, it builds. So you have, for example, Fathom, where we take the call scripts, transcripts. We have VidIQ, where the channel data goes inside it. We have Apify, where we scrape Instagram data. And then it runs alongside 11 Labs, so the voice brain, ChatGPT for images and research, Manus for client ad reports, okay? So everything ends up back at Claude to some degree, and it ends up back in Claude projects for each specific thing, okay? So number one is we have Claude the Hub. Now, I've covered this in previous videos about building your Claude brain. It's the most viewed video on this channel. Go watch it after this if you need to. But Claude runs nearly everything. If it involves thinking or making, it starts in Claude. My content, my client work, apps, websites, everything, right? So what it does, it writes and codes. It reads your documents and data. It builds apps and websites. It connects you to other tools. So like, for example, Claude will connect to Fathom through their connectors, MCPs. So how I use it, nearly all of it, content, one-to-one client projects, prototype apps, websites, and replacing subscriptions that I used to pay for. So what I've started to do now is whenever I'm paying for an application, software, SaaS product, and it's costing me money, I look at, is there a possibility here I can replace this tool with Claude? So for example, we used to use a tool that basically whenever a client signed up, in order for us to get access to their ads manager, we would send them this particular link and it would seamlessly allow us to get access to their ads manager. But it cost a couple of £100 a month, a couple of $100 a month, and we were like, not paying that anymore. So we went away and built our own tool, and so that saved us a couple of $100. And that's an example of how Claude comes for the center part and then connects to all the things that we do on top of it. Number 2 is Fathom calls. Now, you might be sitting here thinking, I know what Fathom is. It's just a little, AI thing that goes in and records your calls. Well, not for me, it's not. Every call becomes the next steps and content. So Fathom records every Zoom that I have. Then Claude reads the transcript and hands me weekly next steps and post-ready content. So for example, let's say I have 10 calls in a week. Fathom and Claude will connect to each other using a routine that I've created, and on a Friday I will get delivered all of the call transcripts, the next steps, and it will turn anything that I've said, any value that I've dropped, into LinkedIn posts and Instagram reels. So every Friday, based off the back of our calls, I will have content ready to go based on conversations that I've had. So that's the power of Fathom. There's loads more stuff you could do. You could turn it into, let's say, for example, it was sales calls. You could turn them into objection handling. You could turn them into FAQs on your site. You could turn them into ads as well for handling people's thoughts before they sign up with you, questions that they ask. You could turn them into ad headlines. And so what it does is it joins your Zoom Meet, your Google Meet or Teams. It records and transcribes. It presents summary and action items. It feeds straight into Claude. Fathom's a note taker. How I use it, like I just said, weekly next steps from every call. That's the granular version of it. And honestly, like you could go as far as you want to go with that. You could keep adding it on and adding it on. Really depends on what kind of calls that you have in the week with your clients. And then we have VidIQ. So this is where YouTube comes into it. So this is where I get my titles scored before I hit record. So if you know the YouTube game by now, you'll know that you need to look for outliers. You need to look for titles that work. You need to use the AI to score it. Now, I could use Claude for this, but VidIQ is actually pretty good. So I use that for going in, checking outliers, checking competitor stuff, looking at keywords and search volume, title scoring on click data, competitor tracking, and it plugs straight into Claude. So like I said, video titles, I use it to get scores and rankings. So what I used to do with this was talk to Claude and say, here's my niche, here's my brain, here's everything I want to put out there. You know, what title should I make next? But Claude's nowhere near as good as VidIQ at this, because Claude just pulls from the web. Instead, what I do now is connect VidIQ with Claude, and it works seamlessly like that. Next is Apify. So really the opportunities are endless with Apify if you've never used it. By the way, I should say that I'm not affiliated with any of these. I won't even put links in the description. This is just what I use. I'm not one of those people that's just going to flog software I don't use. I literally use all this stuff. And I teach it all inside Claude with Chris. So it's literally a $47 or something like that a month, cancel any time, where I teach Claude in way more depth than on YouTube. You know, building AI employees. Coming up soon is building a one-person business. I'm going to map all that out. You know, social media, we've got all of the stuff in here. All the stuff you can imagine that you would need to absolutely maximize Claude. So the link is in the description for that. But yeah, so Apify, grow from real numbers, not guesses. So Apify scrapes Instagram accounts, it scrapes Google business profiles, it scrapes YouTube channels, you name it, it scrapes it. For me particularly, what I use is scraping Instagram. So I could take your Instagram, for example, put it in there. I could ask it to search for the last 100 posts. I could get hooks, captions, comments, views, everything. And so it just scrapes it straight away, that Instagram account. I'll maybe do 5 competitors and I'll see what hooks are working within the AI niche, for example. And then, competitor analysis, content reviews built on real numbers. So I could do this with my own Instagram, and then I could speak to Claude and say, make me a dashboard for the last 90 days and rank the hooks. In fact, I've already done that. I showed it in my previous video. And so Apify is incredible for doing that. It scrapes literally any data source from the platforms on the internet. And I use this probably just as much as VidIQ and Fathom, to be honest. It's really, really powerful. And then we have 11 Labs, which is the voice brain. So a voice I can think out loud with. So 11 Labs runs a voice agent trained on everything the business knows. I talk to it out loud and it answers back. So text to speech, voice cloning, your docs as its knowledge, it talks back in real time. So this is my out loud brainstorm partner trained on the whole business. And then we have ChatGPT, which really I kind of just use it for thumbnails and a second research engine. So ChatGPT makes my YouTube thumbnails and holds a face across the set. I also lean on it for deeper research when I want a second engine. You all know the capabilities of ChatGPT, deep research, brainstorming, all that good stuff. GPTs are very good. But for me, I mostly use it for YouTube thumbnails. I actually have my own GPT that I use for the thumbnails, which makes it a lot easier. And then we have Manus, which I've used for a bunch of things. It's really, really good at creating custom dashboards for yourself, pulling from certain software. And me in particular, it pulls from Meta. So I've got access to all my clients' ad accounts. And Manus was bought over by Meta, so it's trusted. So I trust to connect my ad accounts to it. So I could wake up on a Friday and I could get an ad report sent to me, write it in my Google Docs, get it sent straight to the client. I like to proofread it first, and I like to add my own knowledge to it before I get it to do it. This way I can just stay out of Ads Manager forever. I've also got a tool set up where it pulls from Meta and it gives me the top hooks. It gives me the best performing angle, and it scores it in this nice dashboard so that I never have to ask my team what ads are doing well, what ads need work. What I found was that they were running the ads and then I'd have a meeting with them, then I'm asking them all this stuff, whereas I actually just built my own version of it. One thing that's great about it is I actually turned it into like podcasts in LinkedIn posts. So let's say, for example, one of our clients' ads is doing really well and it's a specific angle, then it turns into a podcast. How this client got a £3 cost per lead in the X niche, and I can go and talk about it on a podcast or a piece of content, story or whatever. So how I use it, best creatives, trends, spikes and ROAS across every client in one report. So watch these run before you leave them alone. The agent that browse and scrape for you, Manus and Apify, are brilliant. Watch the first few runs and check the output before you build on anything else. So just get this set up, do it all manual. And then once it's in a good spot, then you can start to set it up as a routine, start to get it delivered to you. And honestly, if you're a 1-person, 2-people band, like this will change the game if you just set up these tools. Everyone's talking about all these extra things. Chances are they're getting paid to say it. This is apps that, you know, we all kind of use and have all dabbled in. I just use them a lot every single day. And not only that, because I'm using them every single day, they're getting even more and more powerful. So listen, if you want this built with you, if you want a second pair of eyes on your AI tools, if you join Claude with Chris, you also get a one-to-one call with me as soon as you sign up. So Claude with Chris, when you join, I'll send you a DM and say, let's jump on a one-to-one call. Let's have a look at your AI tools. Let's have a look at your business. Is there anything I can add? And it's just a little bonus for signing up with Claude with Chris. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed it. That's the AI tools that I use inside my business. If you want more videos like this, click here.